Alright, I'm doing this video a little bit late because I wanted a little bit of time to think about it. So, here's my thoughts on that on season 2 of Chucky as a whole, not individual episodes, just as a season. And I still really enjoy season 2 of Chucky. I will say, though, right off the bat, I think season 1 is generally better. It's better structured and it has more of a story to it. Season 2, it kind of feels like Don Mancini didn't really know where to go with the story that much. And it's more about just, answering some questions a lot of people have been having. Like, for me, the biggest question was what happened to Glenn Stroke Glenda, after the events of Seeds of Chucky. We did get a Glenda and mention in season 1 because Glenda bought Tiffany her suitcase, pink suitcase that she had. So we do get an explanation to them in that. But in terms of Chucky's plan, like it's a very over convoluted revenge story, to be honest, and it kind of feels like with season 2 that it's more of kind of an opposite kind of approach to season 1, where Jake and Co. kind of feel like more of a B plot, even though it is still the A plot, and the more Tiffany stuff does seem more of the importance to this, because basically it just kind of feels like they're just hanging around in this, church school, Catholic school, and it just kind of stretches the plot over the 8 episodes. Particularly, I'll give you an example. Episode 7. Episode 7, they're trying to perform an exorcism on the Chucky doll. And this exorcism just goes on and on and on. It, it literally just goes on and on with them chanting over and over again, and it just feels like it's far too stretched out. There was a good idea in having a Chucky turn good, but other than a few instances, they don't really do a lot with it, and then it's just he turns evil again, or was he just pretending the whole time type thing. I think they could have gone a little bit more, into that. And also, there are precious few instances of, well, Glenda's the only one who gets to interact with Chucky. Glenn never really does in this. So yeah, it would have been nice to have a few more interactions between, them, but no, that isn't the case. It's also made to clarify that, because there was a lot of confusion in Seed of Chucky whether it was two, souls within one body, or whether it was one with multiple personalities. And this season 2 of Chucky does answer that in the fact that, yes, it was one soul with multiple personalities, with Glenn Stroke Glenda, and the soul was split into two. So that's how we got Glenn and Glenda. And spoiler alert, I should have said that at the beginning, but spoiler alert, at the end of this season, they end up both going back into the original doll, and they actually brought back the original actor to bring him back just for that one scene, but it was great to just have him back. I've forgotten his name off the top of my head, but it was great to just have him back, just to do that one little scene. I imagine they're gonna bring, now called Gigi, I imagine they're gonna bring Gigi back possibly in season 3 if we do get a season 3. I imagine we will. Or if not, probably a direct video film or something like that after this. Because again, a lot of things are set up at the end of this. But yeah, there's also a whole big deal made about, oh, there's only so many Chucky dolls left, and once they're all gone, they're gone. The thing is, though, it's already being established, not just in the previous season, but also in the previous direct-to-video film, which was Cult of Chucky, and other films as well, that Chucky can simply, spread his soul around, or at least transfer it into another doll. So, all he has to do is get his hands on another doll, and, the rules don't say that it has to be a Chucky doll. It could be a human that they could switch, so, which he does do in this, so, yeah, I don't know why it's such a big, massive deal in this. But, okay. Jennifer Tilly, though, does steal the show in whatever scene she is in. And it was interesting to find out that the original Jennifer Tilly actually got transferred into the Tiffany doll, even though the Tiffany doll had an axe to the head. That apparently didn't kill her. Though the thing is, they do this, but they don't do anything with it, because literally after a few scenes, an episode later, she tries to run and escape and is then hit by a truck and is then dead. So, yeah, there are these things that bring in that could have done, done with a bit more development. I mean, that's not a bad ending for the actual Tiffany, to just get run over. But I think they should have tried to do something with it, because you could see maybe there be an alliance with Glenn there, and there kind of is. Just do a little bit more with it. But no, I guess. But yeah, I would say overall it is a bit of a weaker season. I think, in regards to it, I'd say the final episode, which is a Christmas special in November, but okay. I'd say that one is probably one of the strongest episodes of the season, because it doesn't, meander or anything like that. It's also a bit odd because it feels, half the time, the final episode of this season feels more like the start of a new season, really. Episode 7 kind of wraps up the plot for the season, and then the final episode is basically about setting up the next season, basically. So, yeah, a bit odd in that regard. I mean, it's just so many kind of disorienting type things. I think the school setting, the Catholic, school setting, I think it's just a trope that's just been done to death, really, and it just wasn't a particularly very interesting setting, to be honest. I think it was a lot more limiting because, one, it's it's all in the one location. It could have been made to feel more dangerous, but I never felt that our characters were ever in any danger. In fact, most of the characters never really did. So yeah, we do get some new Chucky variants in this. We get a bald Chucky who calls himself the General. We get what I call buff Chucky, who is incredibly strong and muscular. And, yeah. Okay. But, yeah. I will say, though, the reveal of the final Chucky was actually a surprise to me, because there's this Tiffany-looking doll that is introduced in the first episode, which, doesn't appear to do anything. And, to be honest, I did forget about it, because it isn't brought up again until the last episode. It's brought out in episode 1, and then it's just completely forgot about. Literally, Lexi's sister, and that is just completely forgot about until the final episode. I think that's the problem, in that if you're going to do this twist with Lexi's sister, you just completely abandon her for literally most of the season. She's only in the first episode and the last episode. So, yeah, I think the problem is that it's literally hindered by just being at the school. and nowhere else. I think, the scope of the previous season was a lot larger, and there was a lot more interesting, characters to basically push the plots and that forward. And it was also more interesting in that you never quite knew what Chucky was up to. In this one, I mean, they tried to get the whole thing of, oh, what is he up to? I mean, but at the end of the day, it's just a basic revenge plot. That is it. That is Chucky's goal, is to just basically kill Jake, Tiffany, basically everyone who wronged him in the previous season or ever. That's Chucky's goal. That is Chucky's goal in this season. Yeah, it's not as interesting as previous ones. I mean, overall, it was a fun enough romp, and yeah, I did still overall enjoy it, but I don't think structurally in that it was as good as the first season. But you know what? Maybe that might change on a rewatch, and especially when this eventually does get a Blu-ray release and I rewatch all the episodes, maybe they may flow a lot better. So we'll just have to see with that. But yeah, it is open to a season 3 though.